This episode contains theme and topics that some viewers may find disturbing, such as homelessness, suicide, and profound language. Please go visit Helpline 1737 for 24/7 support regarding any problems. Sisters of Compassion, Downtown City Mission, Whakamaru, and Everybody Eats. Any views or options expressed are solely those of the speakers and do not reflect the views of Massey University, Te Aha Tangata, or any other organisation involved in making this podcast.
Ashes to ashes, sand to sand, dust to dust. Imagine you're in a room, an empty room, no doors, no windows. How do you get out? Catch-22. No space, no time, no imagination. What a waste this world has become. No idea that peace is no longer a family thing, just individual personalities running around the dust, swimming through the sands, sleeping within the ashes. And they call me a zombie. What the beat? This poem is about the suicidal zombies in society and how they destroy their own lives and the reason to bring others with them. Also, it's a dedication and a tribute to my friend Ryan and the struggles and frustration of living in this particular life of society. It was inspired by my mate Ryan and the suicide zombies. When I say suicidal zombies, I meant or the people that used to bring us down, the government and some of the rich members of public and so on and so on. I don't mean actually killing yourself. It's also dedicated and inspired to a lot of human behaviour that we see between both the rich and the homeless. It's called Our Zombies.
Kia ora whānau, welcome to a brand new episode of Chur from the Curve. My name is Brucey.
And I'm Smurf.
And yeah, this is our first podcast ever. I'm feeling a bit bloody nervous about this. What about you?
I've never seen a podcast, let alone done a podcast. It's way out of my forte, but willing to give it a try.
Yeah, 100%. I never thought I'd fucking do this, to be honest.
I never thought I'd get into podcasting, let alone a radio kind of thing again.
Before we crack onto it, I actually want to make a big shout out to my mate Craig for actually creating this name, Chur from the Curve. You got to give it up, you know. You got to give it up to the man, you know.
Yeah, no, it's a great name. I wasn't keen on it at first, but when he explained why it was Chur to the Curb, kind of understood in a way, and it's a great name actually. I've warmed up to it a little bit more.
Yeah, 100%. So let's get on with this. Why we are here? Te Aha Tangata. What does it mean? You know, well, what does it mean?
Well, I'm not Māori, but apparently it's the breath of the people.
Yep.
It's to give us a voice so we can tell our background and our stories and our art and stuff like that.
So we've got Matt and Karen, who we've known as Karen, but
we've known as Kamau.
I'm known as Karen.
I've known
but anyway,
as
it's all good. It's all good. Same thing. They used to be the managers for Soup Kitchen. Bunch of great guys, you know. Yeah, man. Looking forward to this.
Well, Matt created a lot of art things, like he created the garden there. We use a lot of the veggies in the meals that we have at Soup Kitchen. He created the idea of Te Aha Tangata to give us a voice. He was on board with the writing class that me and Brucey set up. He got haircuts in there. He got counsellors in there. So he got a lot of things that helped us out to kind of make us become a family and to have a community-based connection that was quite strong. And Karen, well, Kamau was the boss. Sergeant Arms. She made it go fairly smoothly, but everyone had a lot of respect for her. Anyone that picked on her, we picked on them, kind of thing. So we were quite a tight-knit family, still are. This whole talking podcast thing, not really my forte, but Brucey came to me with an idea to do a podcast to evolve the writing club and Te Hā Tangata in a way.
Yep.
And I jumped at the idea because it was sort of like an upgraded version of the Human Library in a smallish way.
Yep. Well, I know for a fact that both of us have been homeless before, and I think
time, actually.
we've been homeless before. I know you've done longer than me. I feel like a jail time, to be honest.
I started when I was 3 on the streets of Cyprus.
Yeah.
My mum got put into jail, and at the time, a lot of us went to the orphanage. So I grew up around the streets of Cyprus, on the west coast mainly, and Morlis. But I also grew up in an orphanage, which was one of the hardest times of my life. However, it did teach me to be hard within and be able to deal with some stuff that no kid should have to.
To be honest, I actually forgotten what year or what age I went on, but I left, I left where I come from, which is big ups to Hastings. And I left because, I ran away from places, but it's all good. And I wanted to experience what it was like to be homeless. Like I used to see homeless people all the time and stuff like that. So being a Māori myself, so I remember me and the nephew, we snuck on the intercity bus without paying for it.
I remember that. That was hilarious.
Yeah, I know, and I was surprised the bus driver didn't bloody comment on that. And
I'm surprised he didn't kick you out in the middle of the desert road and tell you walk.
And I remember, coming to Auckland and didn't know what to expect, But being homeless is like camping, really. But for me. But then about 7, maybe about 8 years later, then it was then you slowly started to adapt on what homelessness is like. Well, now people know who we are.
Well,
and what we're all about.
That's very true.
But let's welcome our guest.
Kia ora, I'm Matt, and I've known Bruce and Smurf for about 10 years now.
Damn, that's a long time.
Damn. I thought it was longer.
I thought it was shorter.
Kia ora, I'm Kamau, and I've known Bruce and Smurf for about the same time.
Now, we're going to flick some Q&A questions for the both of yous. So I reckon my first question would be, was it hard for yous to run Soup Kitchen?
It had its challenges, that's for sure. So I was the kaiwhakahaere there, the manager there, and so my role was really to ensure that the place ran smoothly and safely, which was a pretty big part. I found it really fulfilling and a real privilege actually to be there and to get to know the men and women who were part of that place.
And Matt?
I was really privileged. My job wasn't running it. It was spending lots of time with all the people who came in to use the services, to have dinner, to be part of the community, and hearing people talk and being with people and sharing their stories and having a laugh and just spending time with people in a really welcoming and loving and caring community. I mean, that's not hard. I think, yes, there are hard moments, but no, it was a pleasure.
Well, I got a question. What were your first initial thoughts and feelings when you first started into the idea of Te Hā Tangata?
So I first heard about this project, and it wasn't called Te Hā Tangata to start with. It was just called a human library. And I was in a meeting with Kahanunu Whānau Services, and their general manager, Jo Taiti, had shared with us that she had just got some funding from UNESCO to run a human library. And then she said, but the bugger of it is that there's just not enough money. So we're not going to be able to run it. And my heart leapt at this idea because I knew from my time with the whānau at the soup kitchen that nobody really took time to listen. No one, or rarely did people take time to sit down and talk to our whānau except for us. And we knew what incredible humans that it was in our community, and we knew that there was a lot of prejudice out there, and we knew that the only way to break down prejudice is for one human to sit across from another human, look them in the eye and talk. So I said to Jo at the time, don't give the money back, can I talk to Matt? I need to talk to Matt, who was our lead social worker, our senior social worker there at the time. And when I mentioned it to Matt, he just went, oh my God, how could we not do it? And then once we said to Jo, we would like to take this over, can I tell you, I was terrified. Absolutely. I thought, oh my God, what have I agreed to do?
I wasn't terrified. I knew it would be a success. Again, I'm a very lucky person because I've been involved in arts, music, literature, activities, programs with communities who come from the edge of society, not been listened to or heard before. And I've seen the impact they have, not just for whānau, but for the people who actually get to see and hear and understand our whānau stories. So I just thought, yeah, this is a great idea. Let's do it. This will be wonderful. Forgetting how tiring it can be as well. You invest so much in it. You emotionally, you want to do it, and you want it to be a success. And for your whānau, you want them to be held up on that pedestal and seen, really, truly seen. No, I was never worried about it.
My fear is that we would set whānau up to fail. And that was my fear. My fear is that we would encourage our whānau to tell these stories, these taonga, gifts of these stories, and that we would take them down a path, and for whatever reason, because we didn't have enough money or we couldn't organise it properly, or because of trauma that many of our whānau carried, that would interfere with the process of being able to trust themselves to do this and believe in themselves to do this, that all we were doing was setting them up to fail. I had complete confidence in Matt. I had complete confidence in the other people who were involved in the project. I knew that all of them had the skills. I knew that the whānau had the gift, the taonga, to give. But I also felt the responsibility of ensuring that it actually crossed the line.
Just following on from that point, that fear that you're just setting people up to fail, there's also that concern that we put all this effort in, we achieve something really magnificent, and then nothing happens afterwards. So I think really important to discuss with Elspeth.
So Elspeth, she is a teacher here at Massey University. I think she does drama classes and stuff like that. I'm not too sure.
I think she's a professor, actually. Pretty sure she's more than a teacher. She's a professor.
But she has put a big effort into what we're doing with Te Hā Tangata, Writers Club or anything like that. So yeah,
Elspeth in many ways has carried Te Hā Tangata forward. So 10 years later, we're here talking about it now, and it's still having an impact, and it's still part of a learning environment.
Well, you pretty much answered my follow-up question. I was going to ask, did you ever think it would evolve into a podcast, let alone how long it's been running for?
Well, no, I didn't really know there was such a thing as a podcast back then, actually, to be I'm perfectly honest with you. But I could see Elspeth's, like Matt says, Elspeth's commitment, and that she continued the writing group after Te Hā Tangata. But I didn't see that Te Hā Tangata in itself would continue, but the conversations that we were having as a team at the soup kitchen, as the project was evolving, Matt in particular was the fire starter for the idea that one of the great things about Te Hā Tangata wasn't just that the stories were recognised and treasured, but also each time we came together, there was a sense of purpose. So the taonga and the whānau who were participating in the project felt a real sense of purpose, and Matt brought to the soup kitchen the idea of purposeful activities to follow, which is the mara, the garden. And so, no, I didn't think necessarily that Te Aha Tangata would continue, but I did hope and believe that some sense of purpose for our whānau would continue to thrive out of the soup kitchen and maybe collaboratively with other organisations here.
I remember talking to Smurfy about it actually, as the two guys that helped the Creative Writers Club in Soup Kitchen, and then we get hooked up with them. Matt did his part, and then Elspeth come along, and I just want to follow up about the she carried it. We would call herself the backbone of Te Aha Tangata. You know, without her knowledge, all this stuff here, I don't know where we would be.
Or
be honest.
even her teachings.
Yeah.
I would probably still be getting in trouble on the streets. Without her or my writing, I probably would have never decided to make them into a collective book or anything like that. So I agree, I second.
It's not one person, it's a group of people working together.
There's one.
And everyone brings something different and a different set of skills. And Karen, you were the container. You created the space in which myself, Elspeth, Smurf and Bruce could actually, be creative. And, everyone has a place and it's about working together. And that community is the backbone of everything.
So my another question from me would be, what was your most memorability of Soup Kitchen working there?
But if it's to do with Te Aha Tangata,
I'll say both then. We'll go both.
Actually, it's being outside, the whare entrance and talking with people when they came in. Even if there's lots of really special moments, the bit that sticks with me most of all is actually just being at the entrance, that place of greeting, and all the conversations and guitar playing and humour and the people. That's the bit that, for me, is the biggest memory.
I've got one question. It's just off the whim, but if you could do it all over again, would you? And why?
Yes, I would. Working at the soup kitchen has had the biggest impact on me. Sitting alongside people whose struggles that and their traumas and all the things that contribute to them being in the place where they find themselves. I had no personal experience of that. Okay, I was raised extremely privileged. I grew up on a farm, I had plenty to eat, I was educated, I was given opportunities. And so to actually have that hammered home, not by words, but just by the gentle way, and sometimes the traumatic way in which our interactions were with the whānau, has changed my life. It actually changed the way I look at the world. I can't sit by and listen to people say things, everyone's got the choice, we all have the same, because I know that's BS, right?
Yeah.
Definitely.
And also it's meant that I've been able to move through my life and do work now that I would not have been able to do, I don't believe, if it hadn't been for Soup Kitchen. I also treasure the relationships that I saw in that community, the love and the care. Sure, there was, from time to, of course,
and the chaos and stuff.
But that's humans, you know what I'm saying. But what really stands out to me is the actual care and the love and the friendships and the concern for one another that was shown within. That's why we stopped calling the men and women that came to Soup Kitchen guests. Because they weren't. They were whānau. It was their place. It was almost their tūranga waiwai. It was, and the work that Matt did, building the mara with the men and encouraging different other activities, I think the fishing and some of the other things that were going on and all the music things and all of that, and knowing that the men and the women were able to come and learn about rongoa and all the different things that Matt brought into the Soup Kitchen, precious memories, mate. Yeah. I hold them close.
Great times. Inspired me to do better.
We've all had our memories, Right, ladies and gentlemen, that is us. I'd like to say thank you to our guest.
Kia ora. Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
I promised myself I wouldn't do this, but I know she's up there and bloody probably looking at me grinning. I just want to make a big RIP to one of my street daughters, Bells. Yeah, you bitch, you bloody drove me up the wall.
And then she would come to me and we'd party.
Unfortunately, one of my street daughters, she committed suicide, and I wasn't around. Unfortunately, we both weren't around, and it kind of drove me insane for a bit. But then, yeah.
Well, yeah, I got shitloads of them. I still don't know how I looked after them all at the same time, day after day.
Fucking hell.
I didn't.
It's great what you
I
guys
didn't mean to say cunt, but or prick, but that's literally what they used to call us.
do. So good.
This poem is called A Ragdoll Crisis. It's about life and the sacrifices and the struggles that come with it, and some of the dreams that I've first wanted since I first entered the streets in Cyprus. Right. Pure love is a true sacrifice of life. It's a shame that the only form of desire is the words that are painted over. The shades we see with a sense of hope we never hear, and a story lost from the birth of pain. Life is a funny thing we lust over. It humbles us when we don't need love. It makes us struggle when nothing is a disaster. It gives us hope when death arises. It echoes in our hearts, and it inspires the creation in our souls. Life will never be easy, but that's what we find precious. We dream about the nightmares that life offers. We have faith in our families, even if I never started with one. Blood takes a bullet for us every day. A twin dream is the drug we long for. But it's the one dream I hold close, and it's still the dream I want. I'm a father to many, and I'll never give that up. It's the best drug I have ever taken. It's the story that my parents didn't give a shit about. I'm a child of pain. I'm a child of art. I'm a child of a ragdoll earthquake. But I share this dream with my twin brother, even if he is blind to the silence within.
And that ends our show, ladies and gentlemen. We'll catch you guys up on the round number 2.